Hi everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm Tanya, a doctor lawyer turned homeschool mom of 3 kids ages 9, 6, and 4. In this month's homeschool favorite videos, I just want to share with you some of the things that we've been using and enjoying, not necessarily just in the last month, but overall in our homeschool. I first started watching homeschool favorites videos from Abby over at Full-Time Wife Life. If you don't follow her channel, you definitely should. She puts out great content, and she was one of the very first homeschooling mom channels that I ever followed. So I still really appreciate her homeschool favorites videos. I think she does them seasonally right now, but I'm going to try and do these at least once a month or once every couple months because I really enjoy seeing what else is out there and what kinds of things people are enjoying for all different age levels. The very first thing I'm going to show you is a composition notebook style notebooking that we use for all of our kids, especially at the younger years. But each of my kids has a school notebook, and it's just a composition notebook. The very first day of school, they decorate it like this with washi tape and letter stickers and everything. And I coat it with a couple of layers of packing tape so that all their sticker choices stay put for the entire year. And this is the book that I sort of stick in little printouts that I might find that are useful, things that they've done in other workbooks that I think are a good example of what we've been doing that year. So for example, if they're doing the read curriculum from the CRAFTY classroom, for example, I might not save every single worksheet of that giant ream of notebook paper. I might save a few different examples of activities from different sight words in different weeks throughout the year, cut them up and just size them down or fold them over and put them into their composition notebook. I intend on saving their yearly composition notebook every year. Just an example of how they are changing. So this is the school notebook for my youngest child, and I'll do a full-on video review of everything in there. But as you can see, it's gotten quite thick because we do glue in a lot of things. But she does a lot of copy work in there. Whenever she does some cutting out activities, sometimes she wants to glue them in there. She comes up with little sentences for the pictures. I write them in highlighter. She gets to do some copy work over it. There's some cool flappy kind of cutout things that she likes to tape in. Sometimes we do really simple matching activities with animal stickers and things like that. Sometimes we do sticker stories where she will put down a bunch of stickers and then she'll dictate a story to me and I'll write it down for her. We do little seasonal kinds of things with washi tape. I put in little examples of work that she does at her little Montessori preschool, but as you can see, it just illustrates some of their work. It's like a little portfolio, but it's also something they use on a pretty consistent basis. And I also set up some pages for later. She does some free artwork that she wants to do. At her age, it's a pretty open and go kind of book. Whatever she feels like she wants to stick in her book, I try to stay pretty responsive to that. Here's another sticker story, as you can see, but I love the idea of just having one composition notebook for them for the year where they can show me examples of their work, examples of what they're working on. So it's just a really nice way for them to pick it up later, 5 years later, and she can see a little portfolio of her preschool work. Or her first grade work, etc., etc. And I'll be doing individual videos on those later on to give you different ideas of what you can do in a composition notebook to kind of track their progress and illustrate a little mini portfolio of sorts. My next 2 homeschooling favorites are both from Timberdoodle.com, and I was offered the opportunity to purchase whatever I wanted for 50% off in exchange for my honest review. And I loved these 2 products that I'm going to talk to you about. I really like the premise behind Timberdoodle in general. They create entire curriculum kits for each grade level, or you can buy individual products from their website. And they curate out a lot of great interactive items for homeschool as well as workbook items. So they have everything from living books to nonfiction books to workbooks to games to manipulatives, and I really like a lot of the things they have on their website. Even if you're not interested in purchasing an entire curriculum kit, as I am not, I really do enjoy purchasing individual items from their website because I find that their eye for products that actually interest and engage a child while also providing educational content is really quite good. So I will link Timberdoodle down below. Be sure to look at their site. Whether or not you end up buying from them, they've done a great job curating this entire big world of educational materials for you and pulling out some of the real winners. So these two items that I'm going to show you right now are two really, really good items. This is the Ravensburger 3D World Globe Puzzle. This is the coolest thing ever, and I'm going to interject a little video of my son working on it so that you can see how he did it. I showed it entirely on my Instagram stories, and if you're not following me on Instagram, if you want to see more products like this and things that we're using in our daily homeschool life, that would be the place to do it. So be sure to follow me at Project Happy Home.
I am making the 3D globe puzzle, and they match by number, so it's really hard because there's more than like 1,000 pieces here.
Juju, what's your job?
I got it. Flip it over.
Yeah.
Starts at 1 and goes in a circle. I'm looking for piece 7, and it starts at the bottom, Antarctica.
Nice. Are you going to help too?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
7. Where's 14?
14, where are you? This is hard.
Girls, what are you doing?
We're sorting.
Sorting the numbers, right? Into different groups of 10. Juju, can you find another one for us? So as you can see from those videos, this comes with about 180 pieces, I believe, and each of the pieces can fit in the palm of your hand. They are curved, sturdy plastic, and you start off putting them together at the very bottom of the globe at Antarctica, and they're numbered from 1 all the way to 180. And so you just find them and build this whole entire globe in a spiral fashion. It took my son a little over an hour, I believe, to build the entire thing. It was so satisfying to him. He loved it. He has ADHD and he hyper focuses on puzzles, and this was so much fun. His sisters helped him by sorting out the numbered pieces into groups of 10, so it was a little learning activity for them as well. And then when you finally complete it, you have this awesome globe that is super sturdy. As you can see, it spins really, really nicely. As you can see, the globe is really beautiful. It doesn't show political borders, but it does show geographical markings as well as different country labels. It shows animals that are native to the different parts of the globe, as well as different landmarks, which I found so interesting. But I am so happy with this globe. I think it's so beautiful. It's so sturdy. See, this is it spinning. And my son built it entirely from the bottom up. I think it's so great. I actually kind of want to buy it again for my daughter when she gets to be the right age, and for my other daughter, and maybe they'll all just have their own independent little globes in their room, which I think is nice. The next favorite from Timberdoodle was the Smart Cookies game. Super fun game. Again, I posted about this on Instagram, so definitely follow me there if you want to see day in the life stuff. But this is a logic game, and it says it's from 0 to 99 in terms of age. And I agree with that, because what you get when you open the box is this game board, which is just a tic-tac-toe grid in a way, this little workbook, and all of these little pieces. So you have 9 different pieces. They each have a different color on them and a different shape. So you have 3 different shapes. You have the square, the circle, and the triangle, and they come in 3 different colors. So you have that variety of options. The book starts you off with simple puzzles to solve, and it's really quite clever the way they do it. So the book is a puzzle book, and it basically follows 3 different types of instructions. Here you can see checks in that box. That means that this piece is definitely going to go in this piece in the grid. If you see X's, anything that's red here cannot go in the X's. And sometimes the grid disappears, so you'll see that this can only go in these pieces. And it's a really fun way of just doing logic analysis. Like if I have 2 red pieces left, then obviously these 2 cannot go here, etc., etc. And as you can see, initially the puzzles start off really simple, where it just starts off with checks and it tells you where to put the pieces. But as you progress, by the time you get to around 11 or so, lots of the grid has disappeared. So children have to maintain that visual map in their head, that even though the grid is actually 3 by 3 on their playing board, they're only showing you a couple of squares or 3 or 4 or 5 squares.
So this is Juju, who's 4, playing Smart Cookies for the very first time. Okay, so see how that one is a blue square, Juju?
Mm-hmm.
The blue square has to go here on the puzzle.
Here?
Mm-hmm. There you go. Now where does this yellow square have to go?
That here? Is that here?
Mm-hmm.
Goes here.
Yeah. Good girl. Now how about this red square? Where does that one go? Mm-hmm.
It goes on this side.
Good girl. Voila. And then the yellow triangle? Bravo! And the last one. Hooray! You did puzzle 1! You can do puzzle 2 now.
So it's a really nice, fun logic exercise. All the kids have enjoyed playing it, from my 4-year-old to my 9-year-old. And I think it's a great way of doing logic. I've played this game because I like games like this. And so it really is from ages 0 to 99. And I don't think you can go wrong with this. I think we'll be playing this for years to come. And I like that it's a single player game, because sometimes you just need a child to be by themselves. And sometimes you're working with other kids on something and your kid is just having a meltdown and needs a manipulative thing to calm themselves. And this is a good way of having something that is also educational at the same time. So if you have puzzly kids, if you have kids who like cookies, if you have kids who like playing with tactile things, this is a really nice educational game. And this is the type of game I'm talking about when I say that Timberdoodle has done a good job curating what types of educational tools and manipulatives are actually worthwhile. So far, I've never gone wrong with anything that I've gotten from their website, and I think that's saying something. And just to let you know, I don't get a kickback or anything from saying anything about Timberdoodle. I just did receive these for 50% off, but I chose them myself and I really love them. Another thing that we have been loving this month are window markers. Now these are just Crayola washable window markers. There's 8 of them. I got them off of Amazon. I think they're nice. They're a very fine tip. I kind of wish they were a broader tip, like an expo marker or something. When I posted about these on Instagram, people said that I could just use expo markers, and I tried, but for whatever reason, my windows, it just sort of creates a lot more dust and debris than these do. These wipe away really cleanly with just a wet paper towel, and then sometimes I'll go over it with some window cleaner, but a wet paper towel takes care of these perfectly fine. And they also come off pretty cleanly off of windowsills because, you know, kids. We use these for all sorts of things, just drawing on the window, but also letter writing practice for the youngest, spelling practice for the 2 oldest, as well as math problems. There's nothing like doing long division on the window to get some of the sting out of it, you know? So I really do recommend doing your work with window markers, and actually with a whole host of different types of writing implements. Like sometimes we do math out on the driveway and I just put multiplication tables out in chalk and they do them that way. Sometimes I let them do them with paintbrushes. The idea of not having to use a pencil and paper and be faced with a worksheet is sometimes all you need to make math go that day. So that's a pro tip. If you're having a really math reluctant day, try to do it completely without a pencil. Whatever other writing implement you have, or clay implement or whatever, can make it go a lot faster. In fact, our entire school table, our dining table, is painted with chalkboard paint. So a lot of times if I'm starting to feel resistance, I'll just hand over chalk and we do it on the chalkboard, and it's very zen. You know, there's nothing permanent about the mistake. You can just wipe it off with your hand and start again. It's really helpful for them. Another favorite this month has been the reading lesson. So when I started teaching my middle child to read, I used Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, and we got to about lesson, I would say 50, and started to have real resistance. She was never a super fan of that book, but I thought it did a great job of teaching her phonics and progressing, so I just sort of pushed through that. And by 50 though, I thought, you know, we're getting to a point of resistance where I do want her to associate reading with fun and progress and success. So I switched over to the reading lesson, Teach Your Child to Read in 20 Easy Lessons. And as you can see, it's quite thick. They're not really 20 lessons. We do about 4 pages at a time in this book, and we are almost through it. As you can see, we are about here. It's It's not numbered in terms of pages, but I suppose we are at the end of lesson 16. She has loved this book. It is very different than Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And I don't think it would have been as successful if we hadn't started with 100 Easy Lessons, honestly. But our method was to do about half of Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. So at around lesson 50, we switched over to this book. And every 2 or 3 lessons in this book, we do a couple more lessons in Teach Your Child to Read. And right now, we've gotten to the point where, now that we're almost at the end of this book, we're at about lesson 80 in Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, and it is really quite easy for her. It's a little more challenging because the words are smaller and there's a lot more of them, but she feels really confident, and I really like how we've blended the two curricula together. So if you're having a little pushback with Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, or you just want a different approach than that entirely, I really do recommend this book. I've really enjoyed it. I think I will continue to use both of them for my third child as well. If you want to see the inside of this book, you can look at my old video on the comparison of 4 major reading curricula, and I will try to remember to link that down in the description box below, because I do a flip through in that video and you can see exactly like what's inside for all the pages. Last but not least, for my homeschool favorites this month is this Learn to Sew kit. And I got this from Amazon because my middle daughter has been asking to learn to sew, and she's 6 years old. And I thought, you know what? I guess I can. And while I had every good intention of just starting off small with a piece of burlap inside an embroidery hoop, I didn't have burlap and I didn't have a free embroidery hoop for her. And so I just wanted to keep my life simple and together, and I got this, and I really do like it. This is a kit with a lot of different project ideas. It comes with a really simple booklet and all the materials you need. So we just keep putting everything back in here, and every time she has to sew, we take it out. Right now she is working on this project that's shown on the back, which is making a little stuffy. So she had to draw a little monster. Well, she drew a monster. She could have drawn anything on a piece of canvas, and we're practicing the whip stitch around it. So the kit comes with this booklet, which is just a simple like magazine kind of style booklet, and it includes a variety of different projects that are ranked in difficulty from 1 to 4. In terms of sewing projects, it includes a needle book, a heart headband, a stuffy sleeping bag, a wallet, a purse, and a bunny pouch. And then it has embroidery projects like a phone case, a bracelet or superhero cuff, a donut pincushion, and then upcycling projects like making a bag out of a t-shirt, a stacked pin, a pillow, a sleep mask, and a sport pack. And then it also includes several pages that just show you different sewing techniques. So for example, like here it shows you a running stitch, here it shows you a whip stitch, and that's basically what we're doing now. The way that they do the instructions is very, very clear. They even include pattern pieces for you that are already sized appropriately. So all you have to do is cut them out and show your child how to pin them onto the fabric and cut it out. Right now, she's working on creating a stuffy. So these are the instructions for it. She took her piece of canvas, she drew her picture on it, she cut it out, she pinned it together, and she's working on whip stitching it all the way around. She's about halfway through. She's getting a little frustrated, but it's a good exercise in patience for her. So here you go. This is where she is with her little stuffy, and we are working on it. So as you can see, it's definitely a first effort, but she is enjoying herself. So it comes with all the embroidery floss you need, a measuring tape, sewing pins and buttons and needles. This is the little needle book that she crafted with her little button. She practiced doing a simple button hole with a whip stitch there. But we just slide everything right back into the bag, put it all together, and put it back into the box. And I have really enjoyed teaching this stuff to her. The box also comes with a little bag of stuffing, so truly there is nothing you need to buy. It is open and go. I really recommend it, especially if you're too busy to head to Michael's or whatever. I also like that it keeps it all contained for her, so that if she does lose interest, I can put it all back into the box, put it back onto her shelf, and pull it out next year when she's more interested. But so far so good. She's been very dedicated to this. Every single day she asks to do her little sewing project, and I think it's been doing a great job of teaching her stitches in a really orderly fashion. After she does this, I think I will sort of just do it on my own and continue with stitching projects with her, with an embroidery hoop and burlap or an embroidery hoop and canvas. But For a first introductory kit, I think this is a really nice one. So those were my favorites this month, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear about what kinds of things you've been enjoying in your homeschool recently. As always, I really do appreciate your time and I wish you the very best day.